Indian Railways is the lifeline of the nation. Every day, more than 23 million people travel and over 3 million tons of goods is transported from one place to another on the Indian Railway network, which is world's longest rail network under the single management. Railway is one of the most fuel-efficient mode for transportation of goods and passengers while producing the least carbon emissions as compared to road and air. However, the saturation of existing Indian Railways tracks are becoming one of the biggest challenges in growth of passenger and goods traffic. Because of rapid development in road infrastructure in India and increased share of finished goods, the share of freight carried by Indian Railways has declined from 86% in 1950-51 to 36% by 2011-12, even though the total freight traffic has grown significantly. India's Golden Quadrilateral connecting 4 metropolitan cities with its diagonals is the worst affected. Golden Quadrilateral of rail network is just 16% of total rail network but carries nearly 60% of total freight traffic. Appreciating these facts, Indian Railways decided to build dedicated freight corridors or DFC so as to segregate passenger trains from freight trains and thus generating sufficient capacity to meet increasing demand of both for passengers and freight trains. In a momentous decision, Government of India established a special purpose vehicle called Dedicated Freight Corridor Corporation of India Limited, DFCCIL, on 30th of October 2006 for planning, construction, operation and maintenance of dedicated freight corridors. In the first phase, 2 dedicated freight corridors have been approved for construction spanning a total length of over 3,350 kilometers. The Eastern DFC, covering a distance of about 1,850 kilometers, will start from Sahnewal, Ludhiana and will pass through the states of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Jharkhand before terminating at Dankuni near Kolkata in West Bengal. About 1,500-kilometer Western DFC will start from Dadri in Uttar Pradesh and traverse through Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat and Maharashtra. This corridor will terminate at Jawaharlal Nehru Port in Mumbai.
This dedicated freight corridor that we have planned on eastern side as well as western side is going to change the scene completely, because most of our freight which is on eastern side will shift to eastern dedicated freight corridor, and the freight of container traffic which is going to JNPT port will shift to western freight corridor.
The DFC will come up with several distinct features for the first time in Indian Railway. Freight carrying capacity per train will go up to 13,000 tons from the current 5,000 tons. Maximum speed of goods trains will increase to 100 kilometers as against the current maximum speed of 75 kilometers on Indian Railways. Average speed of freight trains will get a major boost due to dedicated freight lines, and the average speed of freight train has been targeted at 70 km per hour against existing speed of approximately 26 km per hour. The length of goods train will be increased from 700 meters to 1500 meters. Timetabled movement of freight trains will be ensured. Electrified double-stack containers trains will be operated on the Western DFC. The system will facilitate running of roll-on roll-off in electrified territory. Not just transporting of goods, the DFC network will support in providing complete logistics solution to its customers by attracting community partners to set up multimodal logistics parks and terminals along the corridor. Such logistics parks and terminals will facilitate value addition, including packaging, retailing, labeling and palletizing, etc. the first and last mile connectivity in terms of door-to-door services will be provided to the customers by 3PL service provider. The construction of DFC will be a catalyst in industrial growth along the routes. Government of India has also planned Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor (DMIC) and Amritsar-Kolkata Industrial Corridor (AKIC), which will industrialize the area along both the corridors and bring investment to the region. These industrial corridors have been planned using the backbone of the DFC.
Dedicated freight corridor will bring a paradigm shift in the freight transport sector by making it most economical, efficient and reliable mode of transport in India. The technology which has been adopted on dedicated freight corridor is the latest one prevailing around the world. We have brought the axle load of 32.5 ton, for which our bridges and earthwork has been constructed. We are laying our track with 25 ton axle load, and our OHE is 2 into 25 kV, which is the best in the world.
The DFC will transform the Indian transportation sector by bringing into major benefits like lower operation and maintenance cost, lean organization with higher efficiency, higher throughput per wagon and per train, scheduled transit time, better utilization of rolling stock and thus lower overall transport logistics cost. While being most cost effective, DFC will also be most environment-friendly mode of transport. According to the greenhouse gas study carried out by DFCCIL with the help of World Bank through Ernst & Young, it is expected that DFC will save 457 million ton of carbon dioxide in first 30 years of operation.
The construction of dedicated freight corridors with electric traction is very much environment friendly, as this will eliminate release of 457 million ton of carbon dioxide, which would have been released had the DFC not been constructed.
DFC will be a game changer in transport logistics sector as construction on both the corridors are in full swing. Most of the total requirement of over 11,500 hectares of land, excluding the PPP portion, has been acquired and environment clearances have been obtained. Latest technology is being used in construction activities in both the corridors. One of them is the mechanized track laying, which is being done for the first time in India. The new construction machine, called as NTC machine, can lay around 1.5 kilometers of tracks on a single day. Likewise, for welding, the new rails advanced flash butt welding machine have been deployed. This machine welds the ends of two rails perfectly, resulting in the better finished welds with strength of rails.
Dedicated freight corridor, once completed, will be one of the best examples of Make in India mission, which is the dream of our Honorable Prime Minister of India.
For execution of project in a planned manner, casting yards have been planned along the construction route. Bhagega on the western corridor serves as the casting yard for the Rewari-Iqbalgarh route, where all the cement sleepers are constructed. At this location, boxes for rail under bridges and girders to be used are also cast to meet the requirement in identified area. To ensure quality of the material used in the construction activities, strength tests in the quality control labs are being done. To monitor the progress of work on different locations, drone survey has been started for the first time in the history of Indian Railways. Many of the devices and construction processes are being used for the first time in rail system in India. To make it successful, a team of experienced and dedicated staff and executives is a precondition. Indian Railway has been supporting DFCCIL in positioning of experienced manpower. The officers and staffs have been giving training in tender processes and latest construction technology available in India and abroad to provide world-class rail infrastructure of DFC. With the cost of Rs 81,459 crores excluding the PPP portion, DFC is the single largest rail infrastructure project currently being implemented in the country. Most of the eastern DFC part is being financed by World Bank, while the Japan International Cooperation Agency (JICA) is financing the entire western DFC. DFC will provide non-discriminatory access to freight trains belonging to Indian Railways and other qualified operators. Indian Railways and other operators will pay track access charges for usage of DFC infrastructure. With coming of DFC, there will be a transfer of a minimum 70% of freight traffic carried along the route parallel of Indian Railways to DFC. DFC will be a catalyst in increasing rail share. Share of container traffic is expected to go up from current 20% to 40 to 45% with the facility of double stack containers. DFC will provide connectivity to ports and feeder routes, thereby facilitating export-import in a significant way. The entire DFC team spread across many states is fully committed for commissioning of both the corridors, which has to be done section-wise starting from the year 2016. DFC is all set to transform the transportation sector and become key driver of economic growth of the nation, as growth in transport sector is directly related with the economy. DFC, the green corridors of growth and prosperity.